what was your survivor trend?
Well, it's been quite a few weeks since we actually recorded because
Thank you for choosing Burnt Out
Cassie
Perfectionist.
was
My name is
smart
Sarah.
and was like,
Thank you for choosing
Sarah
Burnt Out
listens to her voice
Perfectionist.
every year.
That sounds like
Beginning
we're a
of November.
landscaping company.
I feel like
Welcome
it's
to Burnt Out Perfectionist. My name is Sarah. And my name is Eve.
Of the past
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
The topic of today.
So I
The
set it
topic
up
of
November
today is
2nd. I did
pop
not
culture
put
trends
ornaments
that
on
we
it
don't have
until
time for.
November 12th.
Ralph Lauren Christmas.
And
No.
my
I sent this to Sam and I was like, what is this?
So
I don't know,
Ralph
everybody
Lauren
got off hard
Christmas
to
is
do,
deemed to
like,
be
the
Christmas
level
theme of
of
the year.
fatigue.
So that's like
I feel
really
like I've been
rich
sleeping
colors.
better.
It's
and
very
waking up
like
okay,
plaid
but I
forward
just-
based.
I don't
It's
know if I
very
need to
like
sleep
velvet.
longer or
Like
what.
fresh velvet. My
I'm not
you know,
one to
whole thing was
understand
is I
like
was
making
barely sure
names.
because I
Like
had,
we were
like, no
just talking
voice.
outside.
Yes, and it would go in and out.
When I was doing Sarah's hair,
I was
she looked
also,
at me and
like,
said, "I'd like a
phlegmy,
caramel
but people
mocha
would be like,
hair,"
"Oh,
and I was like,
Oh, does
"Yeah,
your
I'd like
throat
a
hurt so bad?"
coffee.
I'm like, it actually
Like,
doesn't
what
hurt
are you
at
talking
all.
about?
I just
I know, but my
literally
favorite
have
thing
no
is
voice.
these trends come out
Or
for
when her
Christmas.
voice was
And
coming
I
in and out.
understand it's like so that way,
Wow.
you know, brands
She
and
knows
stuff like
that
that
I'm
can
gonna
like,
say
you know,
because
streamline
she was staying
quote
with us for a
unquote
week.
and then get people to
Anything
like
I
buy
did,
into them and all the other
she
stuff.
would
But like
speak,
I
and it made it
literally
sound like
have no time
I
for
was
Christmas
like
trends.
doing
The only
something
thing
wrong,
I
and
have
like,
time for is those DIY
Okay,
cute ass
so,
like Dollar
two
Tree,
things.
Dollarama,
I have asthma,
fun crafting
so
that
I
you
will
can do.
Other
Clear
than
my
that,
throat,
to stop myself from coughing.
I just pull
Yeah.
out the
And
same shit
sometimes
that I
if you
always
do
have
that
for
at different
Christmas
times, or if
because
you go
why not?
like
We've
this, it
our
sounds
mom
like
has
you're
like a
like,
tradition of
fuck,
giving us
right?
So, but like
ornaments
that
and
I'm
stuff.
used
My
to.
husband
Like
has stuff from like before
I'm
we were
like the
together.
clearing the
My
throat.
daughter
Yeah.
makes stuff at
It's the
school, or her teacher will
I
sometimes send
guess
home stuff.
that'll
Like
work.
And I'm
I
like,
don't care. I don't
excuse me?
need the
The
perfect
number one
aesthetic
sentence that has
Christmas.
come out
I
of my
just
mouth.
want
I feel like I'm a
the
bit better
fun. I
today,
call it
but the
fun,
number one sentence
cozy
that has come
family
out of my
Christmas.
mouth for the past
My husband and I
like
had to
2.5
have a
weeks
discussion a
has
couple
been
years ago because
I
we had
don't
like
and like
I
I've
was
looked at
more
my
like
kid and
I
been
don't know
like,
if anybody
"Can you
else gets
please
this,
go
but
pick
like
up your backpack
early 2000s
and
Old
take your
Navy
lunch kit out
Christmas with like
and clean out your
all the
lunch kit."
different like
But it
winter
sounded more
wonderland
like
like
this.
colorful Christmas. It
Can
wasn't really
you
like
go
red, green, and
pick up
gold. It's
your
more like
backpack
silver, blue,
and
purple,
take your
stuff like
lunch
that.
kit out
And then his
and
stuff,
put it
yeah.
in the fridge?
A lot of
Because I'm
his
like,
stuff was
nah,
very
right? You'd be like,
traditional
okay, I'll
Christmas.
do it.
When
I
you're
was
talking
just
about
doing
your
this for a
gold,
minute. I'm
your
like,
greens,
why
your
are
red,
you
stuff like that.
upset? She's like, well,
And then
you're
we
like,
went
it sounds
to
like you're mad or
a
you're
store and
yelling
we
at
were
me. I'm like,
getting
nope,
the
it's
new
just my
ornaments
voice.
because, you know,
And
shit
then
gets
the
broken.
happy thing is,
And I noticed there was like a
I threw an
trend,
event
and
at
we
my
were both
daughter's
leaning more
school,
towards
really
like
well.
the woodsy
Everybody, there was lots of
plaid
like
type
good
stuff,
feedback
but
about
then
it.
we
It was
weren't
really
getting rid
great.
of the
I was
other
able
like
to make
fun
the
ones,
school
like
like
you know, like the Disney
$1,600
ornaments or
when I
all
calculated
that
it
other
all out. I
stuff.
mean,
So
it could be plus or minus.
we kind of
Whatever,
just like
but
pulled the stuff out that didn't work, which he came with a lot of stuff that worked with my other stuff, and then I just donated it because I didn't need it. So I don't. I understand adding things if you want to your Christmas decorations, like finding cute little things to add to, or there's a trend for a lot of crafts, but I know some stuff that's like home sense, which is like the gingerbread trend, which I feel like Eve's been doing that forever. But
Because it's so, like, I've always been, like, a very winter wonderland cohesive.
yeah,
So, like, when we got a new Christmas tree in 2021, we were setting out all the ornaments, and, like, our puppy was really young. We didn't know how she would react to a Christmas tree, because you never do. It's not like you put it up all year.
yeah.
And so our mom was like, kind of like, I don't know how many ornaments I want to put up. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to go to the Dollarama and I'm just going to buy like silver, white, and blue decorations just to make it like really simple. And so I did that. And then the next year I made those like paper spheres with like books that had like, they were like the super damaged ones at the thrift store. And I was like, I'll just make these. Last year I went on a crochet kick with snowflakes.
Oh my goodness. She went from busting those out in like an hour to busting them out in 15 minutes. I timed you because I was fascinated.
They were really easy. I don't actually know how to make them anymore because I just have to look up a tutorial. But I pulled them out to decorate the Christmas tree. And last year too, I bought velvet ribbon in July. And I was like, this would be so cute. And this like dark, like navy and this light blue. And so I decorated the Christmas tree in like, I always decorate like mid-November just because I like to look at it. It's like a nice lamp.
Yeah.
And
It's the ambiance for you.
it is. It's very chill. I hate big lights. And I was on TikTok. So it was like when I started looking on TikTok more. And I sent it to Sarah and I was like, apparently I am trendy now. And she was like, what? And I'm like, apparently me tying bows, like we always had these obnoxious plastic gold bows.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they would like, it got to the point that the wire was sticking out. Like, they weren't the best.
Like they were getting ratty as fuck.
Oh, yeah. So I was like, oh, and our mom was like, man, I really like bows on Christmas trees. Like, having that filler.
Oh, and it works really well, especially if you have like a tree that's like a little bit more sparse than like the average one. It works great.
So I put those on, but like, I don't get let me just completely change the Christmas aesthetic every year. Like, we have different sections. So we have like a gingerbread sideboard that's like kind of been like, I kind of kickstarted it because I love like the gingerbread vibe. Our mom has a Christmas village, which we all know. Once I get married and stuff, I'm gonna have my own Christmas village.
I have a starter Christmas village, so it's fine.
Oh. And then like a few years ago I made the Christmas stockings for everybody, and I made everybody cohesive for everybody's household. So then we just kind of stuck with like that theme.
That's the whole thing is I chronically try to understand when I see these people who are like, I need to buy all this new stuff for fall, or I need to buy all this. I'm like, do you throw it out every year? Like, do you not have a place to store it? Like, where does it go? Because there's so many people who are even like smaller, maybe not like super popular, like creators or influencers. And every year they go out and do these like massive hauls of stuff. And I'm like, where'd your other shit go? Like, if they moved and got a bigger house, kind of makes sense. But also, like, do you really need to fill the whole space? But I see that a lot with Christmas, too. And it's like, oh, they added, like, another Christmas tree, or, like, the multiple Christmas tree thing is not applicable to my household. My household is small.
I was like, that is a lie. Your child has their own Christmas tree.
That's totally different.
Backtracker.
Well, it's a smaller Christmas tree. It's a Christmas tree that was actually our great-grandmother's. It is an aluminum Eaton's Christmas tree.
You notice how she tried to backtrack? Which I'm not a multiple Christmas tree household.
No,
Yeah, ma'am.
I mean the folks who have, like, themes, like, per room. Like,
Oh, like one on a staircase.
like, or they have one, like, in their room. Like, would my husband die to have a Christmas tree in our room? He sure would, but it's not going to make sense. Also, something that I really don't go for is, even just in the holiday season, but for, like, birthdays, is, like, gifting very expensive large items. There has been times, like, even when I was a kid, where, you know, Santa comes to town and Santa brings, you know, personal care items like deodorant or like toothbrushes. I don't know, fun little craft things, little knickknacks, tchotchkes, all that other kind of stuff, your favorite candy, and those go inside stockings. That's kind of like what we grew up with. So then Santa went to one of my friends' houses and he brought Canucks tickets, concert tickets, like lotto tickets, but like scratchers, which is like pretty common for us too. And other high priced items, like when AirPods came out or when an iPod came out, like all that kind of thing was in there. And I was like, oh, interesting. Maybe Santa does that for them because maybe they don't do personal gifts.
So like the past couple of years, I've spent more on mom. Like,
Yeah.
definitely, like, after dad passed, I was like, oh.
Honestly, and I have too, and we do that with my husband's mom because she's also a widow.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm like, well, look at it this way. Like, dad's not buying her a present,
Yeah.
and we're not buying dad a present because, you know,
You don't need anything.
he doesn't need it. So why not, like, if something's out of the regular range, and worst comes to where, if it's a lot out of the range, we usually drop it into, like, a group chat and be like, yo, like, does anybody want to put money towards us? Our other sister is always down. Oh, I'll send you put my name on that gift. Okay, perfect. Oh, this is so great. That was the last person I had. Like,
You know what's funny, though, is I always have to remind them that you've already sent me money for this.
oh my God. Like, when got mom the Cricut press.
Oh, yeah.
You got mom the Cricut press, but then there was something. What was the other thing? Oh, the sewing machine. I had to remind her about the sewing machine last year.
Oh, yeah. And then the other text message, like, what are you getting these people? And I'm like, dude, you've already sent my money.
Oh, my.
I think you're fine.
I have a note or like a reminder that pops up that says, don't buy anybody blank.
Mhm.
And then it tells me where it is in my house.
No.
Or it'll be like, don't open this in front of Charlie, like my daughter.
Yeah.
And then it'll tell me where the thing is. It's not like she's like one of those nosy kids who looks for stuff, but I'll be like, oh crap. Or I'll be like, what's that thing that they wanted? And then all of a sudden it'll be like, they wanted blank. Go look for this now on Black Friday. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm so glad that you're utilizing technology, because it used to just be like, Eve, can you just keep it in your closet? And then I'd be like, I'd get a text and be like, I have nothing for my husband. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Segueing off of technology. I don't have time for when it suddenly decides to stop working. Last night, my fucking TV. You're sitting there, you're watching TV, you're doing your thing. You've got all your stuff hooked up. It's been hooked up that way since 2019. And out of nowhere, a random fucking box comes up. And it's like, hello, would you like to press the button? And you're like, no. And it's for your TV. And then out of nowhere, your Apple remote starts controlling the TV thing. But then you pull out the TV remote, because I keep all the remotes, the TV remote, and it starts operating the Apple TV. And then you have to start the Googling process of figuring out what is going on. And then I flash back to when I worked at a very large communication company, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, do you remember when you used to have like click the top? It was like set up, and then you had to put a special code in to connect with the TV.
I had to do that last night.
Oh,
There was the worst. Or it would be like, they would give you this little tiny booklet with little tiny writing in it, and they'd have like 25 codes. And you'd just like be so excited if you got like 5 codes in and it worked.
yeah.
Oh, but yeah, that's a whole thing. It's like, why can't technology like just work?
So like I use technology obviously, but I have always been a huge like physical item person.
Yeah.
And I saw this trend, and it was like, sorry, that was a really good segue. Good job, Eve. We just put myself up. Of people doing book reviews and tagging the author. Like, I understand people can get like you can get like negative reviews and stuff like that.
Do you mean like they do a review and it's like a shitty review, or they do a review and it's a good review, or it's both?
Mine's mainly for the negative ones. So like, say if I love Jenny Han. We all know how much I love Jenny Han.
Oh yeah.
If I pulled up To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han, and I was like, you know what? I actually despise how they did this, and I'm just like, I'm not like against the storyline. I'm physically crapping like on her words, and I'm like, why do they even like her? Like, why is she so much like this? Stuff like that. Don't tag the author. Or maybe, hear me out. If you don't like a storyline, like if I don't like an author and I'm reading, I'm not gonna come on here and be like, I'll just say, man, I tried to read a book, and I'll just I'll usually walk over to and go, is this terrible? Or am I just being picky? And like, that's different versus like not liking the storyline. Like, oh, I wanted her to choose this person instead of this person. Don't tag the author.
Also, there's apps for that. There's Goodreads, there's Fable. If it wasn't your jam and you have feedback, put it in there, because maybe that's something else, or maybe it was spicier than what you anticipated. Like, there's literally apps and websites to do that, and like physically tagging these people. And sometimes it just becomes like a shitstorm too. And then what'll happen is sometimes you want to read that book, and then that person ruins the book, and they don't even say, like, I'm all about it. Like, if it's come out in the last like month or two, can you just say spoiler, and then I'll just skip.
But also, if it's come out years ago and people are like, I didn't like this because of this, and they're like, oh, you didn't put a spoiler. I'm like, if you wanted to read that book, why are you trying to listen to a full review on it? Why don't you just go read the book?
I know.
And then collect your own opinion on it.
Oh, 100%.
My other one is when people bash celebrities for not catering to what their expectations were. So like, when people are say you play like a really mean character on a show. So like Dan from One Tree Hill.
Oh my God, that poor man. He's such a good actor, and he's so nice.
Apparently he's super nice, but it's
met
like,
him once.
but he, like, people would scream at him and throw things at him based off of a character on a show.
I literally had like a 5-second interaction with him at a produce stand where we live. And I was just like, because they film a lot of like Hallmark stuff and all the other stuff here.
Yeah.
And I literally said, I was in line and I was like, I love your work. And he was like, really? You're the first person to not yell at me. I'm like, you're the best bad guy in Montreal. And he looks at me and he goes, thank you. And I was like, I'm not going to assume that's who you are, because again, they are actors. And he's like, thanks. And had this big smile on his face and like walks away. And I was just like, and then I messaged our mom and I was like, I just met Dan fucking Scott. She was like, what? I'm like, yeah. She goes, did you tell him? I'm like, there is not I can't even think of one more character in other shows that I watched when I was younger that brought on as much fucking rage as just Dan Scott rolled up and you're like, fucking Dan, every time.
Oh, mine was Christopher from Bones.
Oh, yeah,
I still
actually, when
see
I
him.
see him and I go, nope.
But the thing that I find really frustrating too is that so there is actually quite a lot of actors now that choose to play negative characters because they don't get love interest roles because they don't want to go against like their spouse or anything like that.
Yep, or it's like religion or just like how comfortability, I don't think is a word. Like just like their comfort level.
Yeah.
It's not there. They don't want to do stuff like that. Like there's some folks that only really want to do like Hallmark type movies because there's nothing like crazy physical in it or anything like that. And then there's other folks who want to do, just like 90s rom-coms versus like nowadays rom-coms. Or they want like slapstick. And some people are like, I really love to see them in this type of movie. I'm like, maybe they don't want to do that type of movie.
Or maybe they're like, especially there's like an older population that they're still doing stuff and they're like, at least I know that if I'm a bad guy, I'm not gonna have to have like these voluptuous scenes.
Yeah.
And instead it's like, yeah, like maybe I just, interest someone greatly.
I was like, and just a random side quest based on that, like they play characters. Those are characters. Those aren't their real personalities. But also, I do not have time for people in the entertainment industry telling me who to vote for.
I am so tired of the culture of like I'm not saying every business is great. I'm saying like if I have to open my TikTok and it's like we're boycotting this one because the owner in 1972 voted to keep cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like if I want I know Starbucks is a big one. If I want my caramel brulee latte, I'm gonna get my caramel brulee latte. I'm sorry, I want it, and I don't really care.
I know. I feel like there's a lot of like moral, like, oh, you can't do this or you can't do this, and there's also a ton of like misinformation that gets put out there too.
Yeah,
And then it's always one extreme to the next. Like this is what leads me into another thing that I don't have time for is fandom. So I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, early 2000s, stuff like that, right? So I was a Backstreet Boy girl, and there was girls who were NSYNC girls. Did I hate it? I'd be like, ugh, sometimes with NSYNC, but because their style of pop music wasn't my jam. But if they came out with a song and I loved it, I was like, oh, damn. Also, their music videos were fucking awesome.
yeah.
Like the puppets, all the other stuff, like that kind of like concept behind it. But I wasn't like demonizing one against the other. And it wasn't like if I knew somebody who liked NSYNC, I thought they were the worst person on the face of the planet. So, controversial opinion, and if you've listened to this podcast before, you'll know this. I do not like Taylor Swift's music. I'll let that sit for a minute. But I think what she does from a business standpoint is amazing. I think all the cool clues, all the like the whole like investigative shit she does is awesome. Other than and like all the donations she does, she goes and meets kids. Like she seems very level-headed. She's very much into sourdough, which people think is like, was that a thing? Because in San Francisco, it's all about that, and that's where the next Super Bowl is, and like going with the obsession and need to get the attention or be that person. Like, I was watching a video this morning of Wicked, and it was like one of the first showings. I want to say it was in England. I could be incorrect though. Someone jumped over the borders to stand next to Ariana Grande, put their arm around her and wave so like their friend could basically take a picture. That is terrifying. Someone literally ran at her. Cynthia Erivo reacted faster than any security person. Like her reflexes were insane, and same were the other people around her. But like, yeah, sure, you want to do that to get like 5 minutes of fame, but also like that's a safety issue. Also, please remember the shit that happened at an Ariana Grande concert years ago.
But also like that then turned it that the rest of the time they didn't want to interact with anybody.
No, like they're walking down and everyone's wanting to take pictures and see them and say, and they have these like great outfits, which there's probably these amazing designers that they've worked with. And a lot of them work with like independent, not like the big fancy ones.
Mhm.
And they're getting these amazing intricate dresses made. Like that's a moment for that person to see. And now there's probably going to be twice as much security. They may not be walking out. Like this desperation and need for attention really fucking takes away from like a lot of great things that could be happening.
Another thing that really frustrates me is the demanding to know everything. So I am not saying that I am not one to want to know the tea.
Yeah, but sometimes you want to know the tea, but you're not like, you don't need to know like what toilet paper somebody uses to wipe their ass.
It's kind of like the Taylor Swift thing. So like appreciating the stuff that goes on and stuff, but she enters a relationship, like she dated not really that many men. Like, let's be honest, it wasn't that many.
No, it wasn't.
And it was like, oh, shocking. She's going to write another album and a boyfriend. Yes, she definitely monetized on it and was like, whatever, I'm going to own this.
Yeah.
But for instance, like, when Travis proposed, they kept a secret for 2 weeks just to keep it to themselves. And people were like, I think they're already engaged. Why do you care?
Oh, my whole thing is I thought because of how like obsessive people are, I legit was like, I think that they're married and not telling anybody.
But also,
Because I was just like, I feel like for like security or just wanting to like have it to yourself. I get that.
like we probably in the next like few weeks we'll go through like our bingo card and do an update for like one of the near the end of the year. But it's the like when people are afraid to say that they have broken up because they're like, oh well, he cheated on her, this happened, someone cheated on this person. Like, why are you immediately jumping to cheating?
My favorite is another person who's constantly like shit on for dating is Sabrina Carpenter. And anytime she interacts with anybody, so Steve from Stranger Things, he was at one of her concerts and she does that arrest thing in the middle, right? So she was arresting him and every single fucking comment was leave him alone, don't touch him. Oh God, don't put your claws in him, don't ruin him. Like all the comments were fucking mean. And I was like, what the hell?
Well, then you have people that are like, they never want to talk about their relationships because as soon as you put it in the media, like, there's children that are like, if you date, for instance, Malhorn.
Yeah.
If you date this person, you're dating them, you're terrible. And they send death threats. Do you, like, I'm sorry, can you get a life? Like, you can appreciate from the sidelines and be like, oh, you know, Tom Holland and Zendaya make so much sense. I'm so glad they're happy. Like, oh, he's so pretty. Like, I'm sad for him to go, but Zendaya's such a great person and I'm glad they're happy.
Yeah.
Why is it immediately now like, I need to know where they live? I don't.
No,
I don't really care.
My favorite thing is them automatically is as soon as they announce or show that they're a couple, it's like, when are you guys having babies? When you guys get married? When you guys doing this? I'm like, when the fuck was it? Like, there's something I can't stand for. Stop asking people when they're in relationships, when they're going to have babies, and when they're going to get engaged. Leave people the fuck alone. Everybody has their own timeline. Everybody's figuring their own shit out. Back the fuck off.
Oh, also, follow up to that. When someone is making an announcement about something, it is not always a child.
Oh my, the assumption of that always.
Oh, well, are you having a kid? And I'm like, oh, I wrote a book. Or I did this. Or I did this. That's really cool. I'm coming up with a collab with this person. Are you going to have children? I thought you were going to have children. She looks like she's been gaining some weight. I think she's pregnant.
Oh, that's my personal favorite. And then you find out it's something like Selena Gomez, who has like an actual like, well, it's not a
Lupus.
I know. I was like, I feel bad saying a disease.
It's an autoimmune disease.
Yeah, but just to be like, she has a disease.
But like every time it's like, oh well, you look like you're gaining some weight.
Yeah,
You must be pregnant. And I'm like, what?
so fucking rude.
It's so rude. And I'm like, ugh. On a more lighthearted note, the trend I can't fall for, being blonde.
Oh no, I can't do the being blonde trend. Anytime I get close to blonde, I'm like, what fun color can I dye my hair?
So we have an understanding now. Sarah's not allowed to dye her whole. I can't bleach her whole head unless it's like a dark color, because every time we did a light color, a sniff of roots would come in, and she's like, "Can you do my roots?" And now I refuse to do it. I said I'll do balayage and I can do a little bit, but unless we're like highlighting, but no. Kind of hair related. I will never be paying a ridiculous amount to do my hair.
Oh no, I refuse. I've paid, the most I've ever paid is $315 to get my hair done.
I just no.
No, I don't want to. Eve does a great job. And you know what? In the end, you don't really need to do like a bajillion things with your hair at all times.
No.
No.
It's a lot.
Another thing I will not go for. Let's say 20-step skin routine.
Okay, I said 16-step routine.
Ow! I feel like if it's your jam, go right ahead. I personally will not do that. Sensitive skin girly, very dry skin, and I have like rosacea on my cheeks. So there is no need for me for that. And you can literally watch all these videos, do all the other things. And some people would be like, well, you need a serum, you need an essence, you need this, you need this. I'm not going to lie, everybody. I put lotion on my face, and a majority of the time, tinted sunscreen. And if I want to look awake, mascara and some blush. Oh, and I use concealer because I'm 39 years old and I need it.
One that's kind of related Christmas-ish. The goddamn teddy bear cup.
Oh my God. Okay, so as a 1990s child who grew up with Kraft peanut butter, if you're American, you may not know that Kraft has peanut butter. Fun fact. Used to come in a glass jar that was shaped just like a teddy bear.
Yep. Or the honey.
And that I only remember honey in a squeezable bear container.
Or in the
So
glass.
seeing this, I do think it's funny that a lot of companies have like jumped on. So I saw that Costco posted the other day, you get 3 fun cups once you finish your Kirkland honey.
Well, it's like the teddy bear cup, but then before it was like the roommate, and before that it was a Walla, and then before that it was a Stanley, and then it was like collecting the Starbucks cups. But like I saw people like losing it over a teddy bear cup, like lining up at 4 a.m.
Oh,
To go for things? But like I'm not talking like that's not normal now. Like doing that type of stuff was like normal when like you couldn't. It wasn't like a regular thing. Back like years ago, it'd be like, oh, I need to like get up for like Black Friday, when Black Friday was real Black Friday.
Oh, I'm talking about the time that I stood in line at EB Games to get Call of Duty 3 for myself.
But that's Call of Duty. That's a video game that you can play multiple times. That is not a cup.
So, my kid does have Labubu's. I'm just going to put this out there. I love myself a mystery mini box trend. I saw a couple different people who work at secondhand stores in the States stating that they have 30 to 40 Labubu's coming to the thrift store every day now. And I'm just like,
I was never a Labubu person.
okay, I know I like them because they were like kind of creepy and weird, and they were fun colors. And I'm a little weird.
They were all neutrals except for the one pack that was colorful.
Oh no, there was a lot of them that were colorful.
But like majority of them,
My kid ended up getting almost all neutrals, and then like that one mint green one.
Mm.
So I'm always down for that. I'm always down for like a little trim, but if there's just this whole thing about, oh, I need to buy my kid like the newest thing. Like for our one sibling who's younger than me, it was the Tickle Me Elmo. For me, it was Cabbage Patch Dolls when I was a kid that people went like mass hysteria for, and Care Bears. Like,
yeah,
that was the whole like lineup thing, grab and go type of thing. But it's just like, it leads me to the number one thing I don't have time for. Fuck you, resellers. People who resell things, whether it's tickets. I know there's some companies which were not sponsored by this, but like, I think one of them is called StubHub. Companies like that. So when something comes out and you watch somebody go in, or they order a bunch of stuff online and there's no like top quantity that you're allowed to purchase, they go in, buy a shit ton of them, whether it's fucking concert tickets, which Ticketmaster has had a lot of issues with like bots and stuff like that. A toy that's really popular, anything like that, whether it's a seasonal item or not, like before a major holiday or when a new item comes out. For example, when the PlayStation 5 came out. People were going and buying the PlayStation 5, which was already like $1,000, okay? And reselling them from anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. I know some people are like, well, if they had the budget, I mean, like, they're like making their money back and doing all this other stuff. I'm like, but again, there's some people who like there's not just like kids who save up for that, or like families who go to get stuff like that, and then they get completely like fucked over. I remember when the Wii came out, we could not get it anywhere. You couldn't find one anywhere. So I went online and I had to bid on one on eBay. It came with extra games, which was cool. Like, the person that I did that one for was great. But it's just like selling something for a profit and then selling something just to full on rip people off and fuck them over pisses me off.
I just never understood
The major markup type thing.
Oh, you know what was, I'll go bring it up. I bring it up almost every year. The McDonald's 1997 Hercules plates.
Oh my God.
So I think I don't know if I've discussed that I contacted.
Yes, you did. It was in a podcast episode. I want to say it was like mid-June.
Mid-June. I'm still annoyed. Not by them. They were very lovely and very easy to talk to. I will go on eBay every once in a while because I would love to find like everybody in our family a set, because it was such it was a memorial, like that thing was, they were all in our house.
Yeah.
And I like went on eBay and I was like, you know what? If they're below, like if I could get everybody like one, that would be great. And I went on and people were charging between $40 to $70 per plate. I just like, I don't really care who it was. I don't really want Hercules. It's kind of lame, but like,
Yeah, no.
I wanted like all the other ones. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like it was a family memory. It wasn't like, oh, I want to collect them. I'm like, no, like I want to eat off them. Like,
I'm not putting this on a wall. This is not like those like British plates that you put on the wall, the collector plate things. No, I just want it.
but like that was like such a, like having those was like my favorite thing. So you try to find those and it's like $70. And I'm like, oh, wait. You know what I don't have time for? Reboots.
Oh, they're always bad. They're always bad. Or the reboots that just minorly, and I know this is like the weirdest way to say this, but minorly like lick the plot of what originally happened in something. Whether it's like a reboot of like clothing. So like reboots of like what is it? Hollister reissued a lot of stuff in the 90s and early 2000s. I'm like, did they just find a warehouse that was full of old shit and then put it back out again?
Yes.
Or what was the other thing? Oh my God, jelly shoes came back this summer, and like girls, they hurt our feet and they made our feet smell like ass. There's no need for those.
But I even mean like TV shows.
Oh, every TV show, and then they do like a bunch of like swapping stuff that just like confuses me, like plot lines and stuff like that too. Or they completely change like the character that you really like.
I don't need a new one. I don't need to watch the same plot again. Then switch it to something else.
Redos that like kind of work but don't. Like there was one for 90210 as well.
I remember, or Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Okay, so Saved by the Bell, there was the original one, and then they had the college years.
Yeah.
And then they had something else that like went after that, I feel like. And then they like randomly brought it back, but it was like Saved by the Bell, but Saved by the Bell making fun of itself, and then also having like an additional like story. Like it was like they used Saved by the Bell, made fun of Saved by the Bell in the show, but they were trying to have like a whole other show.
It was weird.
It was weird. It was like very comedic and like very goofy.
Yeah.
And then, but like Saved by the Bell, if you watched it when you were younger, people always laughed because that was like the after school special show where they would be like, don't get addicted to caffeine pills like Jessie did. Don't feel the pressure of grades. Don't take drugs.
Which also leads me to is the statement that people make, and there's a TV show, and I have a very strong hatred towards this TV show, saying that children ruin everything.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening. We are splitting this into 2 episodes. So the next part will come in the next week at 6 a.m. Thank you so much, and stay as warped and twisted as ever.
Real raw and ready to talk today. We'll be back next Monday with more in store. Catch you there. and we're always here for more.